We have breaking news out of LA County. Police are currently investigating David's bodyguard, Marky Next Door, for alleged involvement in a recent murder.
Word on the street is that David might have just exposed himself in the worst way possible. The FBI just dropped a bombshell about some post this dude made that got everybody looking at him sideways. We're talking about cryptic messages, deleted content, and timing that's way too suspicious to ignore. His underage girlfriend, Celeste, is dead. And now these posts got people thinking he'd been telling on himself this whole time. Now everybody's asking, did we watch a killer spill the play in real time? Stick around. We are breaking down how IG posts turned into murder evidence. Chapter 1. The post that changed everything. The whole situation started popping off when internet detectives started noticing something real strange about David's social media activity. See, Celeste disappeared under mysterious circumstances back in April 2024. And at first, everybody thought it was just another tragic situation. But then people started going through David's posts from around that time, and what they found had everybody's jaw on the floor.
I media trained you.
No, you didn't.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of raping kids.
Really good.
Okay,
It's been a good one.
Bye, guys.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Oh my! Delete everything. Delete everything. Everything goes.
On April 7th, 2024, just 2 days after Celeste went missing, David posted what seemed like regular artistic content. But when you really looked at it, the timing was wild suspicious. He wrote, "Sometimes the most beautiful flowers need to return to the earth," with a black rose emoji. Now that might sound poetic and all that, but Celeste's family had literally just announced that she was missing. The post got deleted within hours, but screenshots were already circulating. What's even more suspicious is that David had been posting heavy for weeks leading up to Celeste's death. We're talking multiple posts a day, all with this dark, cryptic energy. On February 28th, he posted, "Some secrets are better kept 6 feet deep," followed by another post saying, "Young love dies hard, but silence lives forever." These weren't his usual posts about music or random thoughts. This was different, and people close to him started noticing the change. The FBI apparently been watching these posts too, because according to sources familiar with the investigation, they started building a timeline of David's online activity months before they went public with anything. They noticed patterns that regular people might miss, like how he would post certain content, then delete it exactly 24 hours later. One post that really caught their attention was from March 10th, where he allegedly wrote, "She knows too much, but soon she'll know nothing at all." That post disappeared fast, but the damage was done. But here's where it gets even crazier. David wasn't just posting on his main accounts. Investigators found burner accounts linked to him through IP addresses and device fingerprints. On one of these accounts, username Silent Confessions 247, there were posts that straight up seemed like diary entries. One from March 5th read, "The hardest part isn't doing it, it's pretending you didn't." Another from March 8th said, "She trusted me completely. That's what makes this so easy." David's boys couldn't defend him, saying he was just going through a creative phase. His producer, Scott James, went on Instagram Live talking about how David always wrote dark stuff for his music. "That's just how he expresses himself," Mike said. "Y'all taking art and trying to make it evidence." But even Scott had to admit the timing was looking real questionable. The posts weren't just random either. There was a pattern to them that had forensic linguists shaking their heads. Dr. Patricia Hendricks, who consulted on the case, noted that David's writing style changed dramatically in the weeks before Celeste's death. His usual posts were short, used lots of slang, and had that typical rapper braggadocio. But these new posts were different. Longer sentences, formal language, almost like he was writing for an audience that would analyze every word. What really set things off was when someone leaked a post from David's private story on Snapchat. This was content only his closest friends could see, and somebody screen recorded him saying, "They'll never find out what really happened that night. Some things are better left buried." The video showed him in what looked like the same clothes he wore the last time he was seen with Celeste. By September 2025, the online investigation has blown up completely. Reddit threads were dissecting every single post, comment, and like from David's accounts. They found connections that seemed impossible to ignore, like how he posted a photo of a specific hiking trail on March 7th, and that same trail was where Celeste's phone was found, or how his song Romantic Homicide was eerily too close to the truth of what might have happened. The FBI took notice of all this crowdsourced investigation, but they had access to way more than what the public could see. According to court documents that got leaked, they recovered deleted posts through Meta's servers that were even more damning. One recovered post allegedly said, "She was one but carried secrets like she was 60, had to make sure those secrets stayed with her." Chapter 2. Celeste's story and how David played everyone. To really understand how deep this goes, we got to talk about who Celeste was and how she got caught up with David in the first place. Celeste Marie Johnson was only 14 when she died, a sophomore at Lakeland Village Middle School who had dreams of becoming a social worker. Her friends described her as quiet but ambitious, the type who kept a small circle and stayed focused on her goals. Some chats showed that she met David, whose real name is David Anthony Burke Jr., online in December 2022.
That's her in my classroom in front of this poster right here. Okay, hold up, I got another one because I got a picture on TMZ of this other kid exchanging stuff with the rapper who we alleged did this stuff. Hold on a second, because he's also in my classroom.
Wait, how long ago was this?
We all just found out yesterday who it was, but she's been missing since I taught her. So when I taught her, she met this dude on social media. He was a rapper in LA. He came and got her. She ran away from home. She was gone for like a month. The cops found her in Hollywood, brought her back to our school. She came back to our school, kind of told people this story. She disappeared again in May of that year, May of 2024. That's when her friends told me what happened, that it was this rapper, that they were like blackmailing him, all of this stuff. And then I found out yesterday that she's now dead in that rapper's car, cut into pieces. You want to know how they met? I feel like I just said it. Social media. Let me tell you another story. Hold on.
She was 11 and he was 17 at the time, already knowing she was underage but pursuing her anyway. Her best friend Kayla told investigators Celeste was starstruck. David had just dropped his mixtape, Street Prophecies, and was getting local buzz. She thought she was living in a movie.
Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest. Smell her on my clothes like cigarettes.
What nobody knew at the time was that Celeste had started documenting their relationship in detail. She kept a digital diary on her phone, and when investigators recovered it, they found entries that painted a disturbing picture. On January 15th, 2024, she wrote, "D told me about some stuff from his past that I can't tell anyone. He said if I ever spoke about it, we'd both be in danger." The age difference alone should have been a red flag, but David was smart about how he moved. He never posted pictures with Celeste on his main social media, keeping their relationship low-key. But Celeste's friends knew what was up. They said David would pick her up from school in his blacked-out Charger, always parking a block away like he knew he was moving foul. By February 2024, things had taken a dark turn. Celeste started confiding in her cousin Ashley that she wanted out of the relationship but was scared. According to Ashley's statement to police, Celeste said David had told her too much about his street business. She knew about bodies he caught, where money was stashed, and who was snitching. She felt trapped. What's suspicious is that around the same time, David's posts started getting darker. On February 20th, he posted, "Trust is a luxury I can't afford anymore." Then on February 25th, "Some people know too much for their own good." These posts lined up exactly with when Celeste was trying to distance herself. The FBI's investigation revealed that David had been monitoring Celeste's phone through spyware he installed. They found evidence that he was reading her messages, tracking her location, and even accessing her diary entries. This means he knew exactly when she was planning to leave him and who she was talking to about their relationship. On March 3rd, 2024, Celeste made her last diary entry. She wrote, "I'm going to tell my mom everything tomorrow. I can't live like this anymore. D's been acting stranger than usual, showing up places he shouldn't know I'm at. "I'm scared, but I need to be free." She never got the chance to talk to her mother. The night of April 5th was when everything went down. Security footage from multiple locations helped investigators piece together the timeline. At 8:47 p.m., Celeste was seen leaving her job at a local boutique. At 9:15 p.m., her phone pinged at a gas station where David's car was spotted on camera. At 9:32 p.m., her phone went dark and never came back online. David's alibi for that night was weak from the jump. He claimed he was in the studio with his engineer, but when investigators checked, the studio's keycard system showed no entry for him that night. His boy, who vouched for him later, admitted he lied because David threatened him. The streets started talking immediately. Everybody knew David was moving nervous. What made investigators even more suspicious was David's behavior after Celeste went missing. Instead of helping with search efforts or showing concern, he was posting cryptically online. April 13th. Some people disappeared because they were never meant to be found. March 14th. The truth is buried deeper than you think. These weren't the posts of a concerned boyfriend. These posts were deleted as quickly as they were made, but justice still finds a way. Chapter 3. How the internet cracked the case before the FBI. On September 17, 2025, the LAPD identified the human remains in a Tesla registered to David as Celeste's body.
Residents of this West Hollywood Bird Streets neighborhood are realizing tonight they've been unknowingly walking past a dead body for some time now. When this Tesla arrived at a Hollywood tow yard Monday morning, workers say the car was emitting a foul smell, and it wasn't long before the decomposing body of a woman was discovered in the front trunk. It was the same smell these residents and their dogs have been smelling for more than a week now.
He took a very big interest in sniffing all of it. I'm just remembering something. This is going to sound horrible. So we would walk by the hedges, and I'm like, the hedges always smell like something decomposing. And there's a lot of rats around in here, but there was always a smell. There was always a smell.
This man, who lives about 50 yards from where the car was parked, didn't smell anything, but says he did notice something seemed off.
The only thing odd was out of a state license plate, and it was banged up and kept moving from one place to other place within a couple of blocks from here.
Where the story gets really crazy because regular people on the internet started connecting dots that even trained investigators missed at first. It started on a true crime subreddit where user Justice for Celeste 2024 made a post that would change everything. This user posted a detailed timeline comparing David's social media activity with known facts about Celeste's case. They noticed something that made everybody's blood run cold. David had posted a photo on March 1st with the caption, "Planning something special for my shorty." In the background of the photo, barely visible, was a shovel leaning against his garage wall. The Reddit investigation went into overdrive. Users started analyzing every pixel of every photo David had posted. They found that he'd been researching how to delete iPhone location history and what happens to text messages after factory reset on public computers at the library. The digital breadcrumbs were everywhere once people knew where to look. A TikTok creator named True Crime Tia started making videos about the case, and one of them went mega viral with 8 million views. She pointed out that David had posted a Spotify playlist on March 11th with songs in a specific order that spelled out "Sorry Celeste" with the first letter of each track. When people checked his Spotify history, they found he'd been listening to songs about guilt, murder, and covering up crimes for weeks. But the real breakthrough came from an unexpected source. David's ex-girlfriend from 2 years ago, Jasmine, came forward with screenshots of old conversations. She showed messages where David had said, "If you ever try to leave me, I'll make sure you disappear like you never existed." She also revealed that he'd made similar threats to her when she knew about his illegal activities. The online detectives didn't stop there. They found that David had purchased specific items on Amazon in the weeks before Celeste's death: industrial strength cleaning supplies, a new trunk liner for his car, and heavy-duty garbage bags. His purchase history read like a murder prep list, and when matched with his credit card statements, the timeline was damning. Twitter user @Street Watchdog noticed something everybody else missed. In one of David's Instagram stories from March 8th, there was a reflection in his car window. When enhanced, the reflection showed what appeared to be rope and plastic sheeting in his back seat. This was 4 days before Celeste disappeared, suggesting premeditation. The pressure from social media forced law enforcement to take the case more seriously. The FBI admitted in a press conference that citizen investigators provided valuable leads that accelerated our investigation. They didn't want to admit that random people online were doing their job better than them, but the evidence was undeniable. David's management team tried damage control, releasing a statement saying David was cooperating fully with authorities and that the social media speculation was harmful to finding the truth. But by then, the internet had already compiled a 200-page document of evidence that made their PR efforts pointless. Chapter 4. The Feds Closing In.
Yeah.
What you think about that?
He didn't do it.
Fuck out of here. All the evidence that's out there.
When they gonna let a nigga stay out this long and they got a little bit of evidence? They didn't arrest nigga with way less evidence. If nothing else, put him in jail just to put a hole on him.
A dead body found in your car?
Listen, hold on. If they find a dead body in me and your car, and this is our car, do you think they'll let me and you stay out like long? They got all, so think about this. If they got all this information on him dating a minor, an underage kid, and she look like a white girl, mixed girl, what nigga they let just stay free like this? We already claim about injustices. You don't think, like we see in all the first 48s in crime units victims, they would find some kind of reason to hold him and keep him, make sure he don't do nothing to flee? They're not, no arrest. They got all this evidence to point to say he did it. He done sliced the body up because the body was butchered. So that means somewhere there's a location where there's been blood, where they put cut the lights. They got all this, no arrest? Y'all really think he done this and everything points at him? That's why you can't go with this. If everything points at him, why hadn't they made no arrest when we see niggas get arrested with less evidence? With less evidence, circumstantial evidence they go to trial with. So they got all this physical evidence in his car, his girlfriend, come on, my niggas.
It's crazy to think that with all these evidence, some voices still think David might not be guilty, but everything flipped the second the FBI stepped in. Up until then, it was whispers, rumors online, local cops poking around. But when the Bureau shows up, that's when you know things are real. They don't waste time on TikTok drama or clout-chasing beefs. If they're digging, it's because they smell something that stinks. And right now, that smell is all over David. The cybercrimes unit came in quiet, moving like shadows. They linked up with Meta, Snapchat, Twitter, every platform he touched. See, David thought he was slick, deleting posts, scrubbing timelines, making it look clean. But here's the thing. Nothing on the internet really disappears. The Bureau knows that. They dug it up like bodies in a graveyard. What they pulled was cold, old posts months back full of obsession. Him posting about Celeste in ways that didn't sound like love. They sounded like chains, possessive captions, weird late-night threats masked as art. And then there was the one that made agents sit up. You belong to me forever, even in death. Cops might call that concerning. The FBI, they call it evidence. And then the searches. Bruh, if you're out here Googling how long before a body decomposes and what evidence do police need for murder conviction, that's not curiosity. That's planning. That's paranoia talking. Nobody innocent asks questions like that at 2 or 3 a.m. unless they already crossed the line they can't uncross. The FBI lined it all up like puzzle pieces, and then they went deeper. Turns out, David had tried to run a digital alibi. He scheduled posts to make it look like he was online while supposedly chilling with Celeste, except metadata don't lie. It showed those posts were scheduled days earlier. He wanted it to seem real time, but the timestamps betrayed him. Rookie mistake.
Tesla was repoed on September 8th. He started his tour August 5th, 9th. They said the car was sitting for over 30 days before it got repoed. He reported it missing in between that, but it's been sitting before he started his tour. He called to report a Tesla missing. Now chat, anybody in chat, go to Google and say, can I call Tesla? If my Tesla is missing, can I call Tesla to track it? Watch what it shows you. To call Tesla, a Tesla of all cars you reported missing, when you can call Tesla and get it tracked. That don't make sense. They said the car was sitting for over 30 days. So from when the car was impounded on the 8th, we can add 31 days plus add some change.
Meanwhile, his lawyer Blair Burke been outside talking tough, painting it all as artistic expression. She claimed the posts were lyrics, his Google history was research, and the whole thing was just the government misunderstanding an artist. But word came out that investigators found a voice memo of him literally practicing an alibi, rehearsing lies. You can't spin that into poetry. That's desperation. And here's where it gets even nastier. The feds say they'd been watching him since April, not just browsing his old posts. They had his communications tapped. He was still moving foul. Burner phones, fake IGs, fake Twitters, DMing people close to Celeste. Threats, warnings. One of Celeste's best friends, Kayla, got a message like, "Keep your mouth shut or you'll be seeing your friend real soon." That's not grief talking. That's fear and control. Geodata showed his phone pinged right near the spot Celeste's body was found, even though he swore he'd never been there. Deleted pics from his phone showed the exact area days before she vanished. This wasn't some random coincidence. It painted a picture, a very clear one. And yet, here's the twist. For all that evidence, for all the receipts piling high, there's still no arrest, no indictment, no courtroom dates. Why? Because the feds don't rush. They don't throw a case out there half-baked. They like it airtight. When they come, they want the defense to have no wiggle room. So right now, they're loading up, building the case like a tower brick by brick. Digital evidence, witness statements, forensic reports. Word on the street is they're eyeing multiple charges: murder, cyberstalking, tampering. They even flagged spyware on Celeste's phone, software they say David used to track her. That alone could lock down a cyberstalking charge, even if murder's harder to prove. And all the while, David's walking free. No cuffs, no jail jumpsuit, no courtroom sketches. He's outside. But ask anybody close to the case, it don't feel like freedom. It feels like a countdown. Like every day he's breathing air is just borrowed time. What makes it worse for him? The optics. Screenshots of his posts already leaked online. The creepy captions. The threats. The Google searches. Once the public sees that, the court of opinion is already set. His lawyer can scream artistic freedom all she wants, but the streets ain't buying it. Neither are the feds. And you can feel it. The tension, the silence before the hammer drops. Agents are circling, prosecutors drafting up paperwork in the background, witnesses being prepped. It's all in motion. They're not saying it out loud yet, but the message is clear. This man is next. The question hanging heavy over all of it is simple. When? When do the feds stop stacking and finally knock? Because they will. It's not an if, it's a when. And when that knock comes, it's not going to be a gentle tap. It'll be 6 a.m., doors flying off hinges, neighbors peeking through blinds while agents move in tight formation. That's how the feds do it. Loud and surgical at the same time, and when they take him, there won't be no escape, no Instagram live to spin the narrative, no slick lawyer statement to twist it. Just cold steel and a long ride downtown. For now, though, the case sits right on that knife edge. The story ain't finished. It's still writing itself. And until the arrest drops, every headline, every leak, every whisper just adds more weight to the fall that's coming. So yeah, David's still out, but not really. He's living in that last thin stretch of daylight before the storm. And when the storm finally cracks, that's game over. The impact of this case goes beyond just David and Celeste. It's changed how people think about what they post online and how investigators approach digital evidence. The FBI has acknowledged that this case has set new precedents for social media investigation. Click another box on your screen to watch another video covering what happens next in this case.